Beautiful people, and welcome to Sunup on 7. My name is Brandon Usher.
And I'm Courtney Menzies.
And today is April 21st, guys. We hope that you are up and awake and everything. Why Victor do? One thing, guys.
He's happy that it's Tuesday. I don't know why.
It's the day after the day.
It's the after. Oh, I get it.
Day after the day. So you should be feeling love and everything of that sort, guys. I know, wrong with Vic. But guys, we have a nice show planned for you today. You want to tell them something that we have?
You know him. You love him. The CEO in the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Chester Williams, will be here on the couch talking about the contentious issue of the Maya land rights.
Right, apart from that, guys, we have the National Aid Society in talking about an International Aid Society Global Fund and Symposium that is happening here in our country. I hear it's the first time, so it's big things happening. And, well, you get a little treat there because there's a special guest coming in as well. But apart from that, we have amazing couch talk for you. Controversy and unfortunate situations, and, man, we just hope that you're prepared for it. But you guys know how this works. Shall we get to the couch?
Let's do it.
Answer that's worth looking for today. Just in time, and he's here to talk to us about writing appears on the wall.
Right now. Tell me.
We're the first ones to see.
And we're going to be talking about the hot shush that has been happening.
The world that we see may seem that will never change. They say, but if you tear down the wall that's blinding us all, you'll see the way today. A place to call your home, a place where you can grow. Stand by me and we'll take flight. We'll be there at morning's light. I've got you covered on all concerns we share today. You will discover how the world turns each day. When the sun comes up,
Good morning, my beautiful people, and welcome to your Tuesday episode of Sunup on 7. So before we bring you the show, we have to bring you the weather and the traffic courtesy of the Belize Vet Service and Smart.
Good morning, Belize. Fair, warm, and mostly dry conditions continue to dominate all weather. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for mostly sunny skies today, and high temperatures are expected to reach 87 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast to 93 inland and 80 over the mountains. Tonight, the skies will be clear to partly cloudy with low temperatures of 80 along coastal areas, 70 over inland, and 64 in the higher elevation. Showers will be isolated. The wind will blow from the east to northeast at 5 to 15 knots, and the sea state will be slight. A low tide will occur at 1 minute past 6 this morning, a high at 30 minutes past midday, a low at 8:06 tonight, and a high at 2:27 a.m. The sun rose at 5:32 this morning and will set at 10 minutes past 6. The moon rise at 10 minutes past 9 this morning and will set at 1 minute past 11 tonight. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for similar weather conditions to prevail. In the sargassum forecast, significant amounts of sargassum are expected to continue impacting coastal destinations during the next few days. And in the fire forecast, the risk for forest and brush fires will continue to be moderate to high over the next 24 hours. And with that, we conclude this morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
And there we have the weather, guys. But, Kurtz, I just watched from the traffic just now, right? You see that group of people who made it fast? What if one of these days when we do that, we witness an accident?
What do you do then? Do we just send out a team one time? Send out a news team?
I just think was it because of like, and I just base it off example. Some people just face it when they walk, you know. Like I watched this man the other day, the damn pedestrian ramp, they're right there, but he about 50 feet away from just across the road. And so they have a vehicle, and you have to practice defensive driving in today's society. But one vehicle in front of me, and this vehicle come to a complete halt, like immediately. And I end up on the other lane. And I'm like, why he stopped for? When I look, one person just to walk, take a time cross the.
I think some people don't care about their life. Like, yeah, I'm very like, I have to make sure the street clear. Like the car could have way up the street, but I'm so like, like imagine this thing just speed up or something happens. So I try to make sure it's clear before I cross.
I mean, like, even so, one next example, animals, and I mean, pets, pets, they're out there. So, right, I saw this dog roaming across the highway, and I see one motorcycle that come, and I know if the motorcycle come too fast and run into my direction, but if I come too fast, it will run into the motorcycle direction, right?
Yeah.
So somebody will get hit, and I just blow my hand, and the dog. Luckily, the driver of the motorcycle was actually cautious as well. I blew my horn, and the dog ran straight into his spot, and he just shake his head like, and then the dog continued, and we went our way.
Yeah,
You
have to watch everything. Yeah, you watch kids too, because sometimes kids, they run onto the street, they're playing or whatever.
But anyway, I saw some show where it said, when you see a bouncing ball in the street, what follows next?
Yeah.
A child.
Yep.
So yes, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. It's been a while.
I don't see they post up nothing about running recently, all right?
I have been posting about running. I went running last week, and I was supposed to go today, but I'm here. So I'm going tomorrow instead.
Joy. Guys.
I'm trying to get back into it, yeah, because I haven't been consistent. So I'm trying to get consistent again.
So that date, I wanted to notice. But guys, I'm wearing the Sunup shirt today. I am tired. These rehearsals for After Dark they're doing their thing. We are doing our thing, and we hope that you guys come out again May 8th and 9th, because man, last night got
time for make TikToks while they rehearse.
Well, that after we done rehearse, but that now
I got energy too.
Man, last night's practice was like, we just hope we're ready for it. We just hope we're ready for it. Like, man, guys, again, get your tickets. Whew. Anyways, you ready?
Tickets on sale?
Yeah, tickets are on sale already. You can get it on Quick Pass and from the place and from any one of us, really. Just let us know. Right. We're moving into our coach talk.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we have to report on the death of 3 people And this is following a road traffic incident in August Pine Ridge. Now, this is an unfortunate incident on this straight stretch of road where it is reported that these persons, I think it was 5 persons in the vehicle, but 3 died,
Yeah.
that went to the Corozal Free Zone earlier in the morning. Based on stories, they may have been having a couple of drinks and
As one
everything
does
like
in the
that.
free zone.
Right. And while coming back home, this red pickup truck, slammed into a trailer that was driven by one of the sugarcane trucks. And unfortunately, 3 persons, a man and his common-law wife and another man have lost their lives based on this. This is the couple that they just posted. Man, this is sad.
Yeah.
Because, go ahead.
I was saying, I think the family, because like it's unclear whether or not the truck was moving, and the family believes that it was parked on the side of the highway or side of the road, and they were questioning like, was this vehicle parked? This truck just parked in this, I guess it was an awkward position in which it was parked, and they're saying, it was parked in an awkward way, and that's why their pickup truck ran into, because like the 2 vehicles were facing each other, and it ran into the side of it.
Man,
Yeah.
it's such an unfortunate incident, and I mean, when the father, this is the father of one of the deceased, and the mother gave their testimony, was like, they could not believe it. Even the mother could not believe it, and I could imagine that shock, that denial, that immediate denial that you go through when you're hearing something of this magnitude. Even at the scene, when people are telling her and hugging her, like, you know what? Yes, your son has passed. No, he's at the Northern Regional Hospital. He's not here. They would deny her from seeing her son's body for that time, which I kind of agree on. You don't want to see a son in that circumstances there.
Right.
But yes, this is just a horrendous accident, and we do have to report that, yes, on this same stretch of road,
Right.
in March of 2023, another road traffic accident occurred where 4 persons lost their lives in that one incident. So is it something along that road that needs to be probably well lit, or there needs to be speed bumps, or I don't know. And with Jules, it's about speed bumps the
Right.
other day, but in this case, could a speed bump have, deterred an accident of this magnitude to happen?
But we also have to think about people have to be careful when they're driving, especially if you know that this is an area where accidents happen. You have to be extra vigilant in this area. And in the event, and I'm not saying, like, I don't victim blame, but in the event that these people were in the free zone, were having drinks, we have to think about how are we going to get home, every time we're out, every time we're drinking alcohol, we have to be mindful of who will carry me home, who will make sure that I get home safely, who will be the designated driver, and making sure that person isn't intoxicated. And so during autopsies, they do the toxicology report, and then that's when we'll know if they indeed were
under the influence.
Yeah. But you have to be careful when you're going out drinking, and the person who's driving, even if you are the one who have to stay sober for ensure that person is also staying sober or not drinking too much, then that's just what you have to do, because you have to put your life first.
Right, definitely. And you know what? It's unfortunate, the passing of these 3 persons, but like I said, there were 2 more persons in the vehicle,
Right.
Including a minor.
Yeah.
And yes, they have injuries, but it's not anything major. No, they did sustain major injuries, no? If I'm not mistaken. But they are alive at this point.
Yeah.
And condolences to the family of these persons. It's heart-wrenching to think that in a minute or in a second, your life just goes like that, right? There's another question here in my mind, that if it was parked on the side of the road, were there indicators that it was parked on the side of the road?
Right, because they might not have the reflectors, as most trailers and things, they don't have those things.
I was contemplating sharing a video here today when talking about this, because one night I had to go home, and thank God for headlights, right? And functioning headlights at that. But a police vehicle, no taillight at all, just to cruise along the highway. To cruise along the highway. If somebody doesn't pay attention, come on.
Yeah.
And all it takes is a split second of not paying attention, and something could go drastically wrong.
Right.
Right? Did this trailer have its reflectors? Did it have lights? You know, have some trailers have lights on them as well. Was the cane truck in the front? Did it have lights? Were the hazards on? What were the circumstances? These are some of the questions that the family are now asking, right? But unfortunate news. But we move along, yeah?
Yeah, but if you're traveling along that road, at any point, just ensure that, you know, you're paying attention and you're being mindful of what's on the road, because obviously this is a stretch that is a little dangerous.
So moving on into some controversy now. And this comes out from a circular that went out that says that, you know, all transfers of any public officers, any public servants all across the board has been effectively frozen. So if you were getting that transfer, if you were being transferred from Belize City to Belmopan or to Toledo or somewhere like that, pat your brakes on that, right? There's that circular that came out yesterday that caused major confusion because we have so many other transfers in works at this point. You know how it goes, guys. For one reason or the other, you need to be transferred to another station, to another government department, whether it be for just, you know, circulation purposes alone or some mishaps happening in this department that they are transferred to the next one. Because remember, no, these are all permanent workers. So they will be, they can't be fired unless you want to pay out a pretty penny. So they transfer them to another government department in that case. But no, the circular came out and that to say, for a period of 1 year. Yeah, and they provided no explanations, nothing. Just if you get a lot of people too are going, you know, back home, like the district that or the town or the city that they came from, that their family lives, and so you know a lot of people are looking forward to it. Again, a lot of people were not looking forward to it because maybe they're moved away from their family, so it's different situations. But for no reason at all, it just says. Yeah, your transfer is frozen. You're not. Could you imagine? No, I get this transfer. I'm going back home, like you said. And I done prepare. I done the send up the stuff back home. Yes, I don't tell my landlord where to rent from that, you know, I both left. Imagine, right? You don't tell your kids don't happy, daddy to go home, mommy to go home. Or in some cases, you know, my whole family, I have to uproot them and send them this way. So now we have a freeze. I don't enroll my child into this new school. I don't, you know, my wife don't find this new job. What happens? And again, no explanations were given at all. And I hear that some people high up there, they don't even know this would happen. They weren't even aware that this was happening. It's a shock to a lot of people. And it doesn't seem to be a financial issue. That's what we're hearing. Like usually maybe a transfer would stop because of something with finances, but it doesn't seem like it's coming from the Ministry of Finance. That says a lot. Yeah. So today is a cabinet meeting, as you know, it's Tuesday. And we will be speaking with Henry Charles Usher, Minister of the Public Service, after that meeting. So you'll hear an explanation tonight on the news. You think he know? Well, we did speak to him yesterday. We reached out to him yesterday, and he says he prefers to speak with us in person. Okay, all right. So he does have something cooking, whether it's the truth, we don't know, but he has something cooking. Good one, Quartz. But yes, guys, moving on into our third topic this morning. And this one kind of, you know, hit home, but it hit close to home. Whereas there was a broad execution at the Walmart parking lot in our neighboring city of Chetumal. Now, this one here, so we know that Belizeans flock to Chetumal for go to Shedraway, for go to the market, for go to Walmart specifically, apart from the restaurants and bars. But Walmart itself, people go there so on a whole, right? There was a broad daylight execution, and we see that somebody was waiting them. And just come out and just shoot up this man here, so. They're just waiting for him to come back out. So the man done gone into the Walmart, gonna do his shopping out. Upon coming back out, just shot him up, right? Causing people to go into a frenzy, panic ensued after that. But this is reported to be somewhat of a cartel activity. War, right? Apparently between the Jalisco Nueva Generación and the Sinaloa gang. So now we know that our border, very precious border, is known for a lot of smuggling activities, especially when it comes to tobacco.
Right.
And we saw recent news coming out that they had blocked the importers from actually coming into our border. They were charging them a massive fee, but they never wanted to pay. And so they effectively locked off those importers from coming into Belize. So I'm thinking that maybe the two cartels, they're looking to have control over that area, right? So if it means eliminating your enemy, if it means eliminating your competition, that is what I'm thinking is happening there, right?
Right.
We know a lot of smuggling happens, especially, like I said, with tobacco, recently with the marijuana, amongst other things that has been happening at that border. But will it become even more drastic? We know that recently we've heard about bodies being found along the border as well, no? Will it get more drastic?
Right.
This is a warning to you Belizeans out there, right?
Yeah, because we've been seeing from February when, there were all of those, that major cartel activity happening in different parts of Mexico. And, that was like ahead of Easter and people were already scared. And you see that like there were less Belizeans going across the border because of that. And now we have this in Chetumal, like right where people usually go. So it's like, what will happen to that traffic that usually goes across? Like, I think people are going to be more cautious now, especially if it heightens. I mean, Walmart parking lot, this couldn't be anybody. Anybody could have made it there. Like, I've been to Walmart so many times. Yeah.
It's crazy to think that, yes, right across our border, right? And for all those people that go over there almost every day or almost every weekend, we have people that work over there and then come back home. It's crazy because now we have that identifier. We have the Belizean license plate, right? That somebody can easily recognize us. What do we do then? And we know that just on the topic that you touched a bit, Quartz, I think there was some official from the Mexican government or within Quintana Roo itself that was saying that, man, we're noticing Belizeans are not coming over as much anymore. Yeah. What happens to their economy as well,
right? Because we saw it during COVID when the borders were closed, like they were doing bad. Like, they were so excited when the borders opened up. You'll see like hotels like Los Cocos and then hotels where Belizeans go. They were like, come Belizeans, we need you, we miss you. And like they had decorations, they had the Belizean flag fly up and thing. And so
I
it's
remember
like,
the Los Cocos one, yes.
So you know that they depend heavily on us, but with all this cartel activity, ramping up, Belizeans are definitely, because, you don't have to deal with that Belize. That you don't have to deal with all these dangers, and a lot of people go across to get away from that too, because, in our minds, Chetumal used to be a lot safer.
Yeah.
But now that people are getting executed in parking lots, where do you go?
Daylight, man, that's literally like in, not the heart of town, but on the outskirts more by the sea, but I mean still. It could be anywhere. It could maybe draw where one lot more Belizeans go shop and do whatever they need to do there, right? But can it extend? This is, like I said, just a warning to Belizeans out there going over that border. Be vigilant, be careful. I mean, I can't even imagine with all the amount of people that travel there or all the amount of people that live there, how can you pinpoint somebody to lay with somebody else?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Kind of scary. But moving on into our fourth one, and this one, I don't know if it's about this one. There's a Belizean woman in the U.S., Florida specifically, who faces up to a decade in the American federal prison for marriage fraud. Now, this does something where I know, a strange concept in your minds about marriage fraud. You hear the people where they go for their green card process, so you hear the people where just they're married for just say, you know what, yes, you could file for me with whatever jurisdiction there is that law. You have people who do it vice versa. People who come across, yes, or come marry one Belizean, forget their Belizean nationality, right? But there's a lot more people going over in the States doing this. And here we have this woman, Miss Gonzalez, who went into the U.S. in 2006.
Yeah, and then she overstayed her visa.
Overstayed her visa.
So one red flag already.
Done, right? And we know Trump, once you overstay that's it.
Yeah.
If you're caught, that's it, right? 2, in 2011, she remarried someone from over there. And while applying for her U.S. citizenship through marriage, of course, she submitted a fake divorce paper from Belize, right? And so it was accepted and everything like that. But upon further verification, they found that, yes, it was a fraudulent divorce paper. And not only that, she's still married here in Belize.
So she's committing bigamy too, on top of everything else. I wonder what her husband, if her husband's seeing this, her Belizean husband, if he's seeing this, what he's thinking to himself.
Well, from 2006, I think like they separated. But you know, that's a thing in Belize. Whereas
you separate
and you don't go for no divorce papers. You know, officially separated, but there's no divorce papers. Guys, a little nugget for you guys out there. If you are married and you are separated, you are not divorced.
Yeah.
And I say this in terms of estates.
I was thinking.
Somebody go dead, the ex-wife or the ex-husband still have that claim over that
even if you're not
estate.
separate for like 10 years,
I can tell you, if you have your common law, you don't have one common law if you're already married. That is just a partner. That is not a common law union there. That's invalid, right? So that common law could come in and say, no, well, either his wife or husband, for her husband for so much years, for 15 years, be done separated. No, that no works. So once you not have that divorce papers, guess what? You are not divorced. And even further, upon that divorce being fully recognized, then your time begins to create a common law status.
Yeah.
So forget the 15 years before. Once you get a divorce after 15 years, guess what? 5 more years.
Right.
That will become common law. So in cases like this, where I have left the country since 2006, that is 20 years ago. Mr. Man down here said to carry on with his life. Miss Lady over there said to carry on with her life. They're still not divorced. So if anyone that ain't gonna get married after that, it is bigamy.
Yeah.
It is bigamy.
I wonder if she like maybe tried to reach out and couldn't find him, or if he just refused to sign. Because there are people who refuse to sign divorce papers too.
You don't need to sign divorce papers.
You don't need to sign it?
There is the consensual one that, yes, we both consent to get the divorce. That is the one that you sign. However, there is the uncontested divorce where I just serve you and you have 15 days with which to respond. If you don't respond within that 15 days, me carry on.
So all these movies have been lying to me.
You to watch too much movies. That's the US. That's the US.
Oh, okay. I
But
feel
yes.
very lied to. Okay.
No.
But yes, Miss Gonzalez, now she's sentenced, like you said, to 10 years in federal prison, which is insane.
She's been found guilty, guys. It's just the sentencing that is supposed to occur now.
And then likely deported.
After serving that
After
time.
serving, yeah. And then he come back and we'll see if she then gets her divorce. I don't know.
Oy. Yeah. But like you said, I never really think about that dynamic. What is the husband saying down here?
Yeah.
Or what is the ex-partner saying down here?
Be careful who you marry, guys. Be very careful.
You know what? In my practice, I've had a lot of, I need this divorce finalized by so-and-so because I didn't get married so-and-so. Or they plan to wrong the divorce,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
And I'm like, just patch your brakes because you don't know the timelines of the court. And you don't know all of their things that's about. Yes, just patch your brakes, guys. It can wait. If they love you, they'll wait for you, right? Not that long, but they'll wait for you.
Not make somebody propose to you and they're still married to somebody else. First of all, and don't propose to somebody while still married to somebody else.
Somebody was asking about common law. It takes 5 years living as husband and wife. Not just 5 years in a relationship. 5 years living together as husband and wife. And what rights do they have? Well, they have the same rights as a married person, right? They just don't have the lead document. But trust me, they have the same rights. They could claim for property. They could claim for all of things as well at that point. But moving on into our fifth topic and further regional controversy here. Caricom is at a breaking point. Will Secretary General Barnett step down?
Right.
We have been following this saga from the onset of it when the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, came out saying, you know what, no, we rebuke this, we don't like this. This happened in a hanky-panky way during the retreat for the heads of government from all CARICOM nations. how you just was said that this person get
Really,
reappointed
yeah.
without everybody on board with this, right? Without we not even know
Right.
this made up on the agenda. It wasn't in the communique. It wasn't anywhere to be seen.
Right.
Even through the WhatsApp messages, the receipts that came out throughout all of this, she's saying that all that was in that was the correspondence about the Caricom shirts, right? Which hilarious, by the way.
Hilarious.
But all that was in communication was that. So where did this even come from? This come from left field.
Right, and she done cuss them out and left.
Yes.
Because we remember what she said to them when she gave her, her speech, and she just tell them off, and then she left. So she was not privy to the reappointment. She was not there when it was happening, and they still continued it without her being there. And then her foreign minister was not allowed into that meeting because it was only the heads of state, heads of government who were allowed into the meeting.
So there's some rumblings happening right now with all this controversy because we had past Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. We've had other persons, ambassadors as well, who have said no. This need to be checked, and what I think it was the ambassador of Antigua and Barbuda to the U.S. saying that the honorable thing would be for the Secretary General Barnett to step down. Right? There's so many things happening within this little controversial pocket here that needs to be addressed, but she should just step down because she will not have any support at all from Trinidad and Tobago, especially since they are one of the largest financiers of Caricom itself. So they were threatening to leave because of this demise, right? There's a whole controversy. Then the rumblings start happening that she may not accept her reappointment in August of this year, right? And with that rumbling, there is somewhat a pointing of fingers towards Dr. Terence Drew, who is I think he is the
Caricom chairman, yes.
chair of Caricom at this point. What kind of mismanagement you do, Papa?
Yeah.
What are you doing? This never gone through the proper protocols, and now by one tweet, you expose that this has happened at the retreat.
Yeah.
What kind of official, correspondence is a tweet?
Right. This is very
This is
Caribbean-esque, though. This of course, this is happening in the Caribbean. Like our officials put messages through Facebook, so they're at least one step ahead of us and doing it through a tweet as opposed to Facebook. But this is very Caribbean-esque of the whole thing happening. No prior notice, just the things in a really unorganized way. I think it's unfortunate that this is happening when Belize. It's a Belizean who's the Secretary General.
Right.
It's very unfortunate that we're sort of at the center of this controversy because, Miss Barnett is one of us. But I also worry about Caricom because we're under a lot of pressure right now from many different ways. We don't have Trinidad. They say they're not cooperating with the rest of Caricom in a few different sectors. And then we have the U.S. breathe down with neck, and then we have
the cartels coming.
The cartels that come down, then they bomb up with water. There's so many different things, and this is where Caricom will either make it or be broken.
They're at a turning point right now.
Right, exactly.
The headline says there's a breaking point right now, because what happens next if she is left to assume her responsibility as Secretary General in this new term? What does that mean for Caricom, right? A lot of the heads of government have been asking, all right, well, make we do this over. Or some have been asking, well, let us see, the proper receipts that we need, right? And like me and Ren were discussing, is that if it is that there is a recall or how do you call it? A second vote, of it, right? How will this go ahead? How much time you need for go ahead? Because August, we're just in April, guys, but you just snap like that on August here, right? What happens during then? Is there like a handing over of sorts? If Tashidi continued, then you need that. But if there's a new handing over, what does that look like? Who will support that handing over? There's so many different things happening here. But they're in the heat or in the skillet right now. We have Secretary General Barnett and Dr. Terence Drews. But the leader of the opposition
supports Ms. Barnett.
Yes, in a release yesterday. She said that yes, Belize, she is one of our own. We will stand and support her no matter what. Yes, and I agree. As a Belizean,
Yeah, no matter the decision, but it's her decision, right? Like, what will she do? I will just have to wait and see sooner or later which way she chooses. But yeah, as Belizeans, you support her, like our first Caricom Secretary General. So
that's true, and it's such a huge responsibility, right? But our people in here are saying, quit while you're ahead. I mean, come on, 4 years and 10 months. Get out, right?
And when will it be when Belize sees another Secretary General to Caricom?
We don't know. But behind the scenes, I've been hearing a lot of things, and I'm just like, I don't know what. Well, no, as the Trinidad Prime Minister said, there's a lot of things that she has not done or has not demonstrated to her liking, especially with the kidnapping case, Trinidad to Barbados, especially when the U.S. was knocking at their door, asking for airspace, asking for maritime space as well to conduct their exploration into Venezuela. A lot of things have happened in the past 5 years that she not too keen of.
Yeah.
So, guys, we shall see what happens there. But that brings us to the end of our couch talk this morning. And we do have a birthday shout out, I believe, yes. Let me just get that here. This one is, I forget which chat they sent it, guys.
We have too many group chats.
Yes, so many group chats. I think it was the main host one. Here we are. Yes. You guys have that ready? Yes? Birthday shout out? No? Okay. Let me just forward it quickly. But maybe we could start with the sunrise. I don't know.
Yeah, because no? Are you saying no?
I don't know. They know to talk to, he is. Oh, here we are. This is a beautiful sunrise.
Yeah, it was sent in by me, so of course it's beautiful.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah.
What part is it? It's a burl boom?
Burl boom.
Wrong answers only. Wrong answers only.
No, yeah, it's right. Marine Parade, on one of my runs.
Oh, this is pretty. With the leaf bird just the other day. Oh. What time you get up for the run, Quartz?
I get up 4:30 and I start running like 5-ish.
There we go. That's the time to get up. But yes, guys, let's jump into our birthday shout out this morning. And yes, this goes out to the beautiful Miss Sharon Gillett. A happiest of birthdays to you this morning. This is coming from Tam, Shak, Aish, Kyrie, Kiki, Lacey, and Steph, turning a beautiful 63 years young.
63?
Yes,
That's
that
crazy.
is beautiful, right? Happy birthday to you. We wish you all the best in this new year of life. We know that your children, they absolutely adore you, your grandchildren as well. So have a beautiful, blessed birthday, and make sure that they cook you some nice, sweet, followed up with a nice, sweet dessert, Just spile your Allah today.
Yep.
Spile your Allah today. But happy birthday to you again, Miss Gillett. But with that, guys, we come to our first commercial break. And when we are back, we're jumping into amazing conversation with the National AIDS Society. We have also Wesley Junior College joining us, as well as the Beef's bestie and probably Baby Beef's godfather, Chester Williams, coming in talking about the Maya land rights down south. So stay tuned for amazing conversations ahead.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio. 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023.
Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Cherise Halsell,
And here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening with your news and the bureaucrat.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sunup on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Good morning, my beautiful people, and welcome back to Sunup on 7. So just before the break, Courts and I went through a number of couch talk topics for you, and we truly appreciate all your points of views in there, as well as some of the, the funny jokes that you guys have been talking about staying in your lane and things like that. Yes, we see you guys. But we're jumping into our first conversation for today, and a very important conversation at that. We are here joined with the National AIDS Society, a member of the NAC as well, and a very special guest on our couch this morning. Guys, we have none other than our very own Kevin Mendez, right, who is the primary representative of key populations at the NAC, the country coordinating mechanism. And we also have joined via Zoom, we have the IAS, the International AIDS Society Governing Council, Dr. Ahmad Sued, joining us via Zoom. So good morning to both of you. How are you feeling this morning?
Good morning, folks. It's really exciting to be here on Sunup on 7.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you?
I am at a 10, honestly. I have to say I'm at a 10 because I've been looking forward to this conversation. This is my second time as a guest on my whole time on Sunup on 7. So it's good to be home, having that conversation. And of course, welcome Dr. Omar into our Belizean space. Dr. Omar, he's been contributing a lot to the HIV response, and he represents the International AIDS Society. So it's really good to share the space with everyone.
And we want to find out from you, Dr. Omar, how are you feeling this morning?
Oh, I am feeling well, from 1 to 10. Thank you very much. I am not the owner of the show, like Kevin, but I am so happy and so grateful to be here today with you. Thank you very much.
All right. So I want to first begin this conversation by giving us an idea of exactly what is the International AIDS Society, especially in terms of an educational fund, and how it's been contributing to HIV healthcare across the world. I guess we can start with you, Dr. Omar.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Omar Sued. I am the representative for Latin America in the Governing Council of the International AIDS Society, and also I am infectious disease doctor. I am the regional advisor for HIV at the Pan American Health Organization in Washington. So I am member of IIS for probably 26 years now, actually. I started being member in 2000. But the IIS was created in 1988 as a response for HIV when this disease was really a major global public health crisis. And since then, IIS is playing a unique role in uniting science, policy, and activists. Because IIS, the important thing for IIS is to try to meet the policy with community action. So the society is, or the main action of the society is to convene and advocate for keeping science and human rights in the center of the global HIV response. And IIS does this in several ways. Through the conference, that is the main activities. Probably everybody knows that the International AIDS Conference that are organized every 2 years, 1 year in a low-income country and another year in a high-income country. And this is the largest gathering for HIV and AIDS. This year will be in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Will be in July, end of July, and we hope to have there thousands of people sharing the latest science and the action that are needed for the response. But another very, very good activity that I hope we can talk later with Kevin is the symposium that the educational fund, the IIS Educational Fund, organized since the last 10 years around all the countries in the globe. More than 37,000 people receive training, educational opportunities through this educational fund. And I am proud to announce that the next one will be in Belize. So happy to be here today talking about this meeting in Belize, organized by the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the National AIDS Commission, and also with the GOCOV in Belize. The meeting is named Uniting Science and Community for an Accelerated HIV Response in Belize, and obviously is for accelerate the prevention interventions, the innovation, and addressing the gap, the challenge, and also trying to inform decisions to reach the goals of eliminating HIV.
Wow. I thank you for that, Dr. Omar. It's just fascinating. I was just seeing that this is the first time that the IAS is having this symposium here in Belize, which is amazing on a whole. And I want to get into this with Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean for Belize, really?
That's a great question to start with. I believe that you all, through your experience working in the community and talking just in regular conversations, you've heard that how people are asking, is HIV still a thing in Belize? Are people still getting affected? Where can I go for healthcare service and all of these things? So that's one of the big things that this HIV symposium will do in Belize, is that it will continue the conversation, or at least reignite the conversation. I mean, some of our colleagues from the Ministry of Health and the National AIDS Commission Secretariat, they've been doing a great job in coming to TV shows and have this conversation, but we can say that it's not enough, right? When people are still asking, where can I go for the treatment? How much does it cost me? What does the treatment do? Clearly, there's more to do about it. So that's the big thing, reigniting the conversation around HIV healthcare. How can we support persons with HIV? Also, it allows for people to, at least for healthcare providers, to increase their knowledge about HIV healthcare. We know that science and technology continues to evolve, and that is very important for you to continue providing optimal healthcare to persons, right? So you know what kind of new treatment is available, how should I be diagnosing people and providing follow-up. So you get your knowledge as a healthcare provider optimized to be able to provide a better support. And in terms of community, I feel like at least that's where my drive to be here is that we need to know what's available for us to advocate for those things, right? So you might say, this is how the health system is right now, this is only what I can get. But the IAS Educational Fund, it allows people to see what's new in terms of treatment, in terms of diagnosing, in terms of what are communities doing out there to be more supportive, be more collaborative, and also improve their impact that they have within the response. So it allows us as community to see okay, we can do more, there's more for us. And for the person who is with HIV, often they're is there any new treatment available? Is there any, for instance, we've gone from persons having to take 3 to 4 pills to now just taking 1 pill every 24 hours. That technology is eventually moving, that you can take an injectable every 6 months or something like that, right? So it allows people to be able to see my healthcare can improve because taking 1 pill, your life has to adjust around that, right? So it's how do you make better choices in terms of your healthcare? So in many things, this is going to be a great event for the HIV response. Yeah.
Right, and you because it's the first time in Belize, do you still find that you hear a lot of I don't want to say ignorant, but people who aren't aware of these advantages that you spoke about? When you're out in the field and you're doing this community service, what are some of the things that you still hear up to now?
That's a great question. And for sure, I feel like I'm very privileged to have this information based on my interaction within these spaces that I'm navigating. But definitely there's persons that are still questioning, how do you acquire HIV? How do you live with it? What kind of changes do you need to do? And that's very important to address because that contributes to the level of discrimination that people face, right? Because you are not aware of what this information is out there, how can I protect myself if I'm living with HIV? How can I be healthy? What if I have my partner who's HIV positive, or I decide do I want to be in a relationship with somebody who's HIV positive? How do we make the humanness interact? So by having this information, I feel it reduces the level of discrimination that's out there, and we can be each other's keeper. This information that I'm sharing is, I would say, it's a lot new, unless you are a nerd like me that's always Googling new things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's important to bring it into the Belizean space,
right.
Because people will now be getting a better awareness of what's out there.
I didn't know about the oral test until I took it.
There you go. I saw that. Yeah. How was your experience with that?
It was so easy because I'm scared of needles. I'm scared of drawing blood and all of that stuff. So this is such an easy way to just rubbing it against your teeth and then waiting 20 minutes. That's such an easy way and a lot of people probably don't know, again, like you said, because, we don't have this type of education, that's in especially, I remember doing like reproductive health and these things in school, but how far has the curriculum advanced? Do they teach new things, or it's the same basic things that they teach over and over? So I guess this symposium sort of fills a gap that's really necessary.
Definitely. So like it's going to be a 2-day event, as how Dr. Omar mentioned in his contribution, that there's on April 29th, there's a symposium, and on April 30th, there's going to be a workshop. So at least half of the attendees from the symposium will be present at the workshop. So basically at the symposium, it's coming and learning all of these new technologies, and it's going to be a mix of like political leaders to healthcare providers, social workers, community workers, people from the Senate, like it's just a wide mix of persons that are going to be there. And that's very important because people need to know that HIV is indiscriminate, right? So it can affect anybody.
Right.
And also, like, it's everybody's business, it's everybody's response, right? For a while, we've been talking about, let's change the narrative that HIV is just a pill and a test, right? But what about the many contributors that make people vulnerable to acquiring HIV?
Right.
Like homelessness, discrimination, like lack of meaningful employment, all of those things, right? So like all these agencies are able to see like, what within my space can I do to reduce the vulnerability of people towards acquiring HIV?
And that is a very important topic there, especially in the terms of advocacy and accelerating that response. Now, we have mechanisms here in our country to try to do that, but how is that happening currently? And I'm talking about probably Go Belize as well, right?
So it's a pity that my colleague Eva Burgos is unable to be here. She recently had some medical intervention. So Eva, we wish you all the best with your recovery. So Go Belize has been an integral partner in this implementation, this symposium and this workshop. And so like I'm grateful that they're able to align with the vision of it. So Go Belize for the last 6 to 7 years, they've been providing what's called HIV differentiated services. So basically a combo and with regards to like testing, to like counseling services, to social work support, to going with you to the clinic to key populations. So that's men that have sex with men primarily. So like they've been instrumental in it because one of the things that we realize is that even though like the health system has these services available, people might feel more comfortable going to a familiar face, like a community space, right? So like that's where Go Belize is able to like provide that service and, at the end of the day, still connect people to receiving the health services. But yeah.
So I want to now gear this question towards Dr. Omar.
Yeah.
In terms of the symposium now, could you give us like what's on the agenda, what's the expected outcome of this?
Yeah.
A meeting today, as Kevin said, we will be reviewing all the information that we have about the advance, in particular as Kevin mentioned, the availability of the lenacapavir, which is an injection that can be given every 6 months for prevention, for example, and many other advances in the field. And after that, we will be discussing also the role of mental health in how to address the response. Finally, try to discuss with the people, with the attendants, the barriers that we identify in Belize and proposals for improve the situation. I mean, Belize has a very good position in the response of HIV in Latin America. It's one of the few countries where many of the actions are really integrated in the health system. It's one of the countries with the best information system in the region. So it's very easy, or could be very easy for Belize to really do much strong advances in the elimination. Paco just launched a regional alliance to accelerate the HIV elimination. Elimination doesn't mean that the HIV will disappear. Elimination means that HIV, the number of cases, of new cases, is so low, and the number of deaths for HIV is so low that it's not a problem for the health system anymore. And this is something that is potentially is easy to do, because I just say to do the HIV test is very easy. It's only one rapid test, one strip, 15 or 20 minutes, you have the result. There is a pill for prevent the infection that is called pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's only one pill you take every day. You avoid to have the HIV, you have a risk for that. And if you are HIV positive, you can take a pill for treatment, and hopefully soon we will have injections. But you can take a pill, and this pill allows you to do a normal life. You don't transmit HIV because if you are undetectable, you don't have virus in the blood, you cannot transmit when you are receiving treatment, and you can have babies, you can have a family, you can do whatever you want. So HIV is not a limitation anymore like it used to be in the past when we don't have treatment. Today, it's easier to treat HIV than to treat hypertension or diabetes, for example. So hopefully all the people will have more interest in having the test, in be sure what is the situation, if it's HIV negative, and things that have any risk, please go to Belize or to any Ministry of Health facility and ask for HIV test and ask for the pre-exposure prophylaxis. But if the test is positive, don't worry. There is a lot of potential for treatment. You can have a normal life, a beautiful life, the same life you wanted to have. The only thing that you will be unable to do is to donate an organ, for transplantation. It's the only limitation that you have being HIV. And for this reason, it's important to normalize this discussion in order, as Kevin said before, the stigma is reduced, and in order that the people can accept that this is a chronic infection. It's not a sentence or anything like that used to be 40 years ago, and it's very, very easy to diagnose, to prevent, and to treat. Thank you.
I like that answer that you gave just now, because I feel like, and I probably will ask Kevin this question as well. It's not, I think it was ruled recently that it's no longer a terminal illness, right? It's just, you could carry on with your life, as you said, Dr. Omar. So there is medication, there is treatment in order to suppress the virus to undetected levels, right? Meaning you can go have sexual intercourse without passing it on. A mother cannot pass it on to their child anymore. Things like this. But no, the major thing, and as you said, Dr. Omar, that remains is that stigma, right? What are we doing to dispel that stigma?
That's a great question. So it goes back to what we shared earlier in terms of like sharing information and still keeping the conversation, fuels to people to be more enlightened or aware of, like, again, what's in the realm of HIV, for them to be aware, again, personal awareness, but also that contributes to reducing the discrimination. I feel like in the largest part, it's how do we support the person who is with HIV to be able to be empowered and say, like, okay, I have HIV, yes, but I know what I need to do to stay healthy, like focus on my health. And I feel like from conversations and working for years with the community, like what people say, and I feel like, and it's beyond just HIV, like what people think about you, what people say, like impacts a lot about, especially if you, I don't know, you're in a situation where like they put you down and like they bash you and they're bullying you. So like you're such in a vulnerable space, right? So like whatever happens out there like impacts how you go about navigating. So it's like, how do we provide all this holistic service to the individual where we are aware that when you get a diagnosis like being HIV positive, it's life-changing, right? You have to do like many things that will require for you to be healthy. So it's like one of those things is mental health support. And within the agenda that we have for the IAS Symposium, there's a section on mental health support, right? Especially as regards to like substance use, as regards to like how do you deal with self-stigma, some personal stories about how people kind of navigate in self-stigma to a point of empowerment and say, hey, you know what? It's my status. I'm going to openly talk about it. It's important to have that conversation and access my healthcare. Ultimately, I feel like people should be able to see persons that are able to have a fulfilled life living with HIV, right? I feel like whenever we think about HIV, there's a certain picture that people have in mind. But honestly, like you're able to be your full self, and that's where like the symposium and the methodologies that Dr. Omar mentioned of like how you go about testing and treatment, it allows for people to be at that space. So yeah, so like that's how we like addressing like that discrimination, that self-stigma by allowing people to see, hey, like who I can be, how I can be, you know, and by people to be more educated about it.
And in terms of statistics, have we seen like a dramatic decrease in both deaths, HIV-related deaths, as well as the transmission over the last few years where we've seen these advances in the medication?
That's a great question. And again, that brings us back to why are we having the symposium? So when we were like pitching the symposium to be in Belize, because it's the first time the IAS Educational Fund is having a forum in Central America, right? And
we're
we
leading
love
the
it for
charge.
Belize, right? So it's like, it's very funny in a way because we often associate Belize with the Caribbean and the Caribbean. But look at us, you know, saying, hey, we're also part of Central America and this fund is coming to Central America and Belize gets the host. So like, that's pretty cool.
Congrats on that.
But yeah, so as in regards to like the statistics, you know, what we can say is that if you reflected on the last years, there's been a trend that at least like 200 persons are newly infected every year. You know, and even though you can say like it's 200 persons, right? And that is life-changing for them on its own. And so like despite, you know, like these services are being available, which is great, it's like we're not seeing it getting reflected in the community, right? So which is like, I'm not gonna go deep in the statistics, but it's where we can see like people need to know what prevention methods are available. People need to know what kind of treatment is available, you know, what kind of community support is available for those numbers to change. But if you were like to ask again, you know, like based on the statistics, we could do better, you know, and that's why we're here.
Right, and that's 200 persons that have gone for their tests. What about the many that do not do the tests, right? That are infected every year.
What's also like very important of that data, if we can quickly add, Brandon, is that it's affecting young men, right? People ages like 19 to 24. So like that's like a pretty like, we're seeing how youth are getting affected in many spaces, right? With this recent thing about contraception that you need like prescription and that kind of stuff, it affects youth, right? And youth are very important now. And people say we're the future, but given the current situations, what future, right? So it's like, how do we get young persons involved now and see like, hey, we see a young person, we see the vulnerabilities because it really hasn't changed the vulnerabilities of what affected persons, you know, like 30, 40 years ago to what's affecting us now, right? So it's like, let's not make the same mistakes over. You know, there's so many things that we have learned throughout the HIV response, saying we can do something about it now, which is where we are.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we're coming to the close of this segment, any final words? I'll ask Dr. Omar if you have any final words.
Well, I think the stigma, would you say before, is the most important thing, and the stigma is built in fear, built in fears and the discrimination, also in fear to be infected or to get the infection from others. So we need to realize that with the tools that we have today, the infection can be stopped. Nobody can transmit HIV, so people with HIV should not be a fear for anybody. And everybody should be interested in knowing what is his own or her own status, specifically because the earlier the infection is identified, the easy is the infection to be treated, and the possibility to live this normal life is higher, you know. So the deaths, as you say before, the people that die in Belize today is because they never did the HIV test before, and so when they are diagnosed, the immune system is very, very weak because several years pass after these people got the infection. So the important call here is please try to know what is your status. Go do in any place an HIV test. And then if the test is negative, please be involved in disseminating that this can be really a chronic disease that can be eliminated if we act. So if you are interested, try to join any NGO, try to read about HIV, to read about the new development, and also participate in Go Joven Belize or in IIS, and enter in the site, in the easociety.org, or be involved in the response in anywhere. Everybody has somebody that knows somebody that got HIV, and the reality today is so much different than used to be when I started medicine, when there was no treatment for the people. Young people was dying because they don't have the opportunity to receive treatment. And today it's so easy. that it's unfair that people can be, that the people can really develop the disease. So please go tested, be aware, and trust me in the information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. And Kevin, as a final question for me now, back to the symposium, the 29th and 30th.
Yeah.
Is it open for everybody, or is it just a closed group of invitees?
I would say it's open but closed at the same time. Because, so like I said, the symposium is on day one, which invitations have been sent out, right? So we're expecting at least 150 persons to be there.
Okay.
But if you're still interested in participating, you can message me on Facebook, and then we can see how we can fit you in for sure. The workshop is an invitations-only space, right? So that's where like strategies will get developed based on what you learned from day one and based on where you work. So yeah, so that's an invitations only on day two.
All right,
yeah.
great.
But I just want to thank Dr. Omar for being here. And so the theme for the symposium is uniting science and communities to accelerate the HIV response in Belize. So again, it's very exciting. And as Dr. Omar mentioned, thank you to the persons that have contributed. Representative from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, National AIDS Commission Secretariat, Go Belize, and the IS Educational Fund for supporting this. So it's huge. I'm really excited, for this event. Yeah, it's going to be monumental, and we hope that it sparks the interest for it to be like the first of many to come, because there's so many things to learn around HIV healthcare, around human rights, and how can we support communities. So it's the first one we're having in Belize, so it's huge, and I'm grateful to be able to live it and experience it. We hope that people decide to come.
Let's put it as the first of many.
First of many, yeah, and this is something that continues. So, but thank you. It was good being a
thank you.
guest for the second time on Sunup on 7.
And thank you, Dr. Omar, for joining us here on our show this morning. But guys, with that, we come to the end of this segment, and we go to our next commercial break. And when we are back, we're diving into more amazing conversations for you this morning. Stay tuned.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio, 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning. the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Sherry Halsell, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sunup on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Sherry Halsell, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
In the heart of Belize, a battle is being waged, not with weapons, but with choices. When waste is disposed of in unauthorized locations, in our forests, drains, and waterways, along our highways, and in vacant lots, this is illegal dumping. The consequences reach far beyond what we see. Toxic chemicals seep into our groundwater, threatening our drinking water. Disease-carrying mosquitoes breed in abandoned tires, and wildlife mistake our waste for food. For over a decade, the Department of Environment has worked tirelessly to clean up these sites. But they can't do it alone. They need your help, and now taking action is easier than ever. Download the ArcGIS Survey 123 app to your phone. You can report illegal dump sites. The app records the location, allows you to add photos. Simply open the app, allow location access, fill in basic details about the site, add a photo, and submit. Your report helps us protect our communities and natural resources. Every report matters. Every action counts. Stand proud in protecting our nation. Our Belize, our responsibility. BINIC.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
A town called Freedom and Mars Production present an event you can't afford to miss.
It's the Belize Music World Festival, Saturday, April 25th, 2026.
At the spacious Marion Jones Stadium. This annual event is geared to give you the very best in music, food, and artistry.
The Belize Music World Festival.
Headlines with two of Reggae World's very best performers. The one and only Mr. Siggy himself.
Taurus Riley.
With the very first time in Belize, Reggae Prince of Reggae Royal Family, Skip
Marley.
I just wanna be close to you.
with his band. And also featuring on this momentous event is Pen Cayetano with his band. And Jay Cass with his band. Yes, Belize, it's a full-on band show. Also backing up this show is DJ Jago, DJ Console, DJ Cad, DJ Smurf, and Clark, and Rasen Jaro. Firestarter Sound. It's all hosted by DJ Nala. So mark the date and don't be late. April 25th. Gates open at 7 for showtime at 8 at the Marion Jones Stadium. Ticket prices are bleachers, $41. General admission, $61. VIP, $151. For Ultra Boost, $2,500. Also available. Cocktail tables for VIP area only. Sponsors are A Town Called Freedom, Mars Production, Monisco, Pelican, Travelers Liquor, BTV, Niche, Channel 5, Channel 7, Love FM, and Love TV, Trim Radio and TV, and Cellular World.
Good morning, my beautiful people, and welcome back to Sunup on 7. So just before the break, we had special guests in Kevin Mendez as well as Dr. Amar Sued from the National AIDS Commission, from the National AIDS Society, as well as the International AIDS Society, talking about the upcoming symposium happening April 29th and 30th, guys. In very important matters, the first time here in Belize, and they are aiming to do wonderful things for the AIDS response here in our own country. But something else happening in our own country is DINSUP. What is DINSUP? Well, we'll find out from a business student, Mr. Kylan Brown from Wesley Junior College. So good morning, Kylan. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
All right. So excitement is happening this weekend because we have DINSUP. But I want to first educate our people about what is DINSUP.
Well, as most of us know, dinner and supper are two words used to refer to meals that are eaten in the evening or nighttime.
Like Belizean tea.
Belizeans call it tea. So basically what the school did was take those two words and combine it together to form DINSUP. It's an yearly annual event, so it's been going on for quite some time now.
All right. So I wanna get a gist of what exactly DINSUP is about. Yeah.
Well, it's an event, like I said, held every year, whereby us as students are given the task to be hosts for the night, whereby we will have guests come in under one roof where we will serve them drinks, wine, food. There will be entertainment, there will be prizes and giveaways. So, like, it's more than just a dinner. It's more of a celebration with a elegant atmosphere, nice music, great ambience.
Right, and it's also a fundraiser.
Yes, ma'am. The proceeds from the tickets and the event goes towards the school's building fund, because right now we're currently sharing a building with the high school to do classes at night for sixth form. So the school is just trying to raise enough money to build a building
sixth form
for us.
itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ah, nice. So is it just a business student venture, or is it all of the junior college?
I would say just like marketing class, so it's more of a business venture rather than.
So this is like real life marketing training.
Yes, mom, preparing us.
And how is that going? Because you're like, yeah.
You know what? So far, it's been pretty stressful, you know, with the short amount of time that we've been given to plan this event. You know, having to communicate frequently with our teacher and our peers, you know, having to go out and get stuff or organize or call people to just come and host the evening or to provide entertainment. It has been pretty challenging, but easy, I would say, for the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
What's some of the entertainment that people can expect?
Well, live music. There will be a DJ, I suppose. There will be Garifuna drummers and then musician that will be performing live entertainment during the event. So, you know, just for the cost of $50 only, you get to enjoy a full course meal with dessert and drinks. And there will be prizes, there will be giveaways, there will be a lot of stuff going on in that night. The event will be happening at the Maria Chang building on the 4th floor above Thrift City.
Okay.
It is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So you have enough time to celebrate and enjoy and have fun in the night without wanting to go home already, you know. And I guess the venue this year has been selected very wisely because from the 4th floor, while you're having this great evening, you also have a beautiful view of the city. So, you know, it's more of a great vibe, great music, great food. Everything just comes under one roof for a gathering of celebration, you know, or a fundraising event just to help the school.
Yeah.
So,
And in terms of, we talk about entertainment now, but what about food? What are you to feed we? Or that don't a surprise?
I would say it's a surprise, but we have appetizers, we have main course meal, we have dessert, as I
So you
said.
got a 3-course meal for the people.
Yes,
now.
sir. The event it has no restrictions, so you could bring your grandma, you could bring your aunt, you could bring your kids, because there will be coffee, water, sodas, just more than just wine, you know.
Okay, nice.
And so how can people buy tickets?
You can contact the school or you can contact us students because they give us tickets that we could sell on our own to help promote the event. Also, yeah, you could just contact the school and reach out for information regarding the tickets. And the cost, as I said, is $50.
They would contact Wesley Junior College alone. All right. And in terms of, let's say people might not be able to attend the event, is there like a way that people can just simply donate funds?
Yes, sir. You could just take the money to the office, to the dean, and let her know you're just contributing to the cause of the building fund rather than going to the event, and they would.
Right. So now, Kylan, you as a business student there at the junior college, what do you want, or what do you want people to get out from this Dins Up?
Well, like I said, it's for a worthy cause. So I want people to come out and relax, you know, just have a nice night, enjoy great food, enjoy great company, you know, like moreover, most importantly, I want them to have fun, feel like they belong there because it's inclusive for any and everybody. So
I love that. All right.
And you said this is an event that the school has been having for a long time.
4 years, yes, Mom.
Yeah. Okay.
And so now, as we're coming to the close of this conversation, I understand that we have two giveaways, two tickets.
Yes, sir.
Right. So you have questions for these people?
Just two.
Just two. All right.
Tickets.
But all right. So you know how this works, guys. He will ask the questions, and the first person to get it correct in our chat is the winner of one of these tickets. Oh yeah, give it two of them. Two of them together?
Yes, sir.
All right,
so it's two questions and they have to get two of the answers right to win two of the tickets.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Make it split it up.
Yeah.
1-1.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, guys, first person again, you are the winner of one of these tickets. I know Arlette done the trophy antenna done gone up, right? But go ahead.
The first question.
The first question is, what will the proceeds of the event be designated to?
All right.
You know?
All right. So what will the proceeds of the event be designated to? First person to get that correct, yes. And control room, we have left that today.
The second the second question is what venue will the event be held and what floor?
Good one.
That's a nice one. What floor? So that's a double pronged question, guys. 2 answers, 1 comment, please. Ooh, Ninus. Then they show watch them and then they tease the people with that.
So what will the proceeds be used for and where will the event be held and on what floor? So if you may pay attention, Kylan said all of these earlier in the segment.
I wonder something else. So. You know Kyla Gill?
Yes, that's my mom.
I just looked at the name, the spelling of the name, and I'm like,
That's my mom. She's probably watching the show as we speak.
Yes, she is. Can mom win, guys? Shall we give it to mom?
Mom must have done got a ticket.
Mom doesn't need it. Mom is a part of the board. She doesn't need this ticket.
Oh, okay. Your son said it himself. All right, so Samira Hines, Maria Chang Building, 4th floor.
Yes.
All right, so you're the winner of one of these tickets, Samira Hines. The next one is, what is the funds being used for? And Mom, I'm sorry, Kyla didn't say I got tickets. Like, you're a part of some committee, no?
Huh?
She's a part of what?
Of the Wesley board.
Oh, yeah, so no. All right, so yes, Samir Hines, but again, what are the funds being used for? As we're coming to the close of this segment, Kylan, is there any final words? Probably invite the people one more time.
I would just like to encourage everyone, if you can, to buy tickets, support us, support the school, come out for a nice time, Like I said, it is open to any and everyone, so this event won't be forgettable, It's a semi-formal event, People come out, dress their best, look nice, have fun, eat, just come out and have a great overall time in an elegant setting and a classy ambience just for this one night only.
All right. And again, Saturday beginning at 6.
6 p.m. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
The doors open at 6 or it opens before?
I believe it opens before, but the event starts at 6. Yes,
all right, guys. So while we wait on that next question, that next answer, we'll go to a commercial break. And when we are back, guys, yes, you shall have Chester himself. We should have just left the show for him. But we'll be right back. Thank you so much again, Kyla.
Thank you, guys.
And all the best in the fundraising. Again, guys, go to Wesley Junior College if you cannot make it to this Dins Sup and give something. Wesley has come a long way and it's growing even larger. They need to expand now with their very own building. Let's help them get there. So, commercial break. We'll be right back.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Shirley Halsell,
And here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Crack.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
In the heart of Belize, a battle is being waged, not with weapons, but with choices. When waste is disposed of in unauthorized locations, in our forests, drains, and waterways, along our highways, and in vacant lots, this is illegal dumping. The consequences reach far beyond what we see. Toxic chemicals seep into our groundwater, threatening our drinking water. Disease-carrying mosquitoes breed in abandoned tires, and wildlife mistake our waste for food. For over a decade, the Department of Environment has worked tirelessly to clean up these sites. But they can't do it alone. They need your help, and now taking action is easier than ever. Download the ArcGIS Survey 123 app to your phone. You can report illegal dump sites. The app records the location, allows you to add photos. Simply open the app, allow location access, fill in basic details about the site, add a photo, and submit. Your report helps us protect our communities and natural resources. Every report matters. Every action counts. Stand proud in protecting our nation. Our Belize, our responsibility. Binic.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
A town called Freedom and Mars Production present an event you can't afford to miss.
It's the Belize Music World Festival, Saturday, April 25th, 2026.
At the spacious Marion Jones Stadium. This annual event is geared to give you the very best in music, food, and artistry.
The Belize Music World Festival.
Headlines with two of Reggae World's very best performers. The one and only Mr. Singy himself.
Taurus Riley.
With the very first time in Belize, Reggae Prince of Reggae Royal Families,
Skip Marley.
I just wanna be close to you.
With his band. And also featuring on this momentous event is Pen Cayetano with his band. And Jay Cass with his band. Yes, Belize, it's a full-on band show. Also backing up this show is DJ Jago, DJ Console, DJ Cad, DJ Smurf, and Clark, and Rasan Jaro. Firestarter sound. It's all hosted by DJ Dala. So mark the date and don't be late. April 25th. Gates open at 7 for showtime at 8 at the Marion Jones Stadium. Ticket prices are bleachers, $41. General admission, $61. VIP, $151. For Ultra Boost, $2,500. Also available. Cocktail tables for VIP area only. Sponsors are A Town Called Freedom, Mars Production, Monisco, Pelican, Travelers Liquor, BTB, Niche, Channel 5, Channel 7, Love FM, and Love TV, Trim Radio and TV, and Cellular World.
Good morning, my beautiful people, and welcome back to Sunup on 7. So just before the break, we had Wesley Junior College in talking about their annual Dins Sup happening this Saturday at the Maria Chang, building there on Douglas Jones Street. Again, guys, the funds are going towards a worthy cause. We do have the second winner of that ticket. We have Miss Rihanna Cadogan, who has won the first question about where the funds exactly are going. So congratulations to the winners. We've taken down your names, so we will be asking for those tickets, and we will alert you when that time comes to come pick up your tickets. But we're jumping into our final conversation this morning, and we're here joined, guys. Yes, the bus has come. Yes, we have the CEO of the Ministry of Constitution, the Indigenous Peoples Affairs, as well as Transport in none other than Chester Williams. And alongside him, we have Mr. Gustavo Riqueña, who is the Director of Indigenous Affairs. So good morning to both of you, gentlemen. How are we doing this morning?
Good morning, Brandon, and good morning, Courtney. Always a pleasure to be here. And as an adjunct lecturer at Wesley Junior College, I want to join the young man who was here in appealing to the Belizean people to support the water cause for what is being done this weekend. I believe that, like he said, it is going to be an exceptional occasion where families can go and have a very nice time. So I emphasize his point that we should give our support to the occasion.
Yes. Definitely. So, Chester, we're here for very, very important reasons this morning as well. We're talking about the customary Maya land rights, and we know that there's been a whole CCT judgment about it. But where are we at this point? Where are we at this point?
Well, basically, Brandon, Courtney, this whole thing came about as a result of the 2015 CCJ consent order, in which the CCJ affirms the Court of Appeal decision that Maya customary land tenure do exist in the villages of Toledo District. The CCJ went on to state that those rights are to be protected in line with Section 3D and Section 17 of the Belize Constitution. Now, Section 3D deals with the right to protection from discrimination, and that is in the introductory to the Bill of Rights of the Constitution. And then Section 17 deals with the protection of property under the Constitution. And so it says that the government do have the responsibility of ensuring that those rights are protected. But the CCJ went on in its consent order to state that the government is to develop the legislation and administrative measures to be able to define those, identify and protect those customary land rights. And again, with the whole issue of the legislation, it also has to do with how the whole issue is going to be administered. Now, the first thing that the government did was to develop the FPIC protocol. And again, the FPIC protocol is basically free, prior, and informed consent. And so we have that whole process going on where everything that is being done within the area that is perceived to be Maya customary land tenure, there is some consultation with the people who are going to be affected by the decisions. And so Mr. Riqueña, who is the director of the Indigenous People Affairs, has been the one on the ground most of the time. Myself and the minister do go on the grounds a lot in making sure that we do a lot of consultations. You would recall that in 2025, there was intense issue in the area, and Minister Zabani and myself, along with the director, we have done a lot to make sure that we were able to quell the situation. But we do understand that it is not something that is easily dealt with, as much as there are people out there who are saying that the government is not doing anything to comply with the consent order. That is not true. There's a lot that we have done, and there's a lot more that we want to do. But we also have to understand that this is not something that we can just get up and do just like that. It comes with a lot of implication.
Right.
Other than the Mayans themselves, we do have non-Mayans who live within the area who have huge investments. We also have some Mayan people who don't want to be a part of the process, who also have investment in the area. So whatever approach is taken by government, government will have to take into consideration the rights of all those people, because at the end of the day, while we speak to the protection of property under the Constitution as it relates to the Mayans, the government also have to look at the protection of property of those third parties as well, because they stand to lose a lot. And so it is something that we are approaching very cautiously. And I can say to you that the CCJ had also maintained supervisory oversight of the process up to November of last year. Okay. We had compliance hearing every month, and those hearings were attended by Senior Counsel Marshall-elect and Deputy Solicitor General Ms. Matut. And I can say to you that in every hearing that they had, the CCJ was extremely happy to see the progress that we had made, even going up to the drafting of legislation. So we believe we're on the right track. Yes, there's a lot more that needs to be done. They also have the cabinet committee that is going to be the review panel, which is going to have ministers like Minister Zabane, Minister Martinez, who will be a part of that review panel along with the Mayan People Alliance and the Alcalde Association to look at the whole legislation and see how best they can finalize it. Because again, everything must be done in consultation with them. But while we have that consultation with them, we also have to look at developing some degree of consultation with the third parties who stand to lose whatever investment they may have in those areas that are going to be declared as Mayan customary land tenure.
And while this government has had only like 5-6 years in office at this point, the Maya people, though, their complaint is that they've been waiting for a long time, since 2015, over 10 years, successive governments have sort of just kind of kicked the can down the road, as they put it. And that is what has led to that issue in Indian Creek, where the alcalde started issuing these land certificates, quote unquote. And that then led to the alleged abduction and whatnot. A very contentious village right now. How do you maneuver that situation, particularly with him subdividing and handing out those land certificates? He received 2 cease and desist letters, but they don't seem to have any effect.
Well, again, I cannot speak to what transpired in the previous administration. I can say for a fact that under this government, there's a lot that has been done. And I could understand why the can may have been kicked down the road by the previous administration, because the truth be told, it is a complex issue. The issue is going to affect people in many ways, and so perhaps that's the reason why. But looking at the whole issue with Indian Creek, I don't want to go into it too much, because it is something that is still being investigated by the police in terms of the alleged abduction. But from a land issue, the CCJ consent order is clear, that the government is going to, in consultation with the Mayan people, identify those customary land. We are still in that process. We have not come to that conclusion where we can say these are the customary Mayan lands. And with the advent of the legislation that is going to give rise to those rights that will come along with the land, then the alcalde would have no standing in issuing no land certificate to anybody. We have to make sure that the process takes its course. I think that any reasonable person would agree with me that there's a lot that we are doing to make sure that we complete this process. It is the Prime Minister who have said to us, and the Minister is very determined to make sure that we complete this process in this term of government. So we are going to do as much as we can, as best as we can. We have been in consultation with the Attorney General Ministry, and I must give kudos to Attorney General Sylvester. He has always availed himself whenever we need him to guide us with advice and so forth. But again, it takes the entire government, those ministries, those departments with responsibility to come together and make sure that we do this the right way. Our minister is in consultation with Minister Martinez, who is a rep in the Toledo district, and Minister Rekenia, who is the rep for most of the Mayan villages. So we also have Minister Mira, who is from the police, because then there is also an element of policing where we're seeing that things occur within the area, and the police to some extent believe that they cannot act. So we're saying to them through the Office of Indigenous People Affairs, yes, you can do certain things. We just need to make sure that whatever is done in compliance with the FPIC protocol.
I want to ask this question to Mr. Rekenia. You are on the ground now, and I note that some of the villages, and we were discussing it during the break, some of the villages are for it, some are against, and some are split. What are we doing in order to try to see how we move forward with villages that may be against it or for it?
Well, the issue is very complex, like CEO mentioned, and I think that there is the urgent need for a very robust educational campaign on really what it is that if a community goes and chooses communal land, what are the implications for that community? If a community goes down and says we want private land, we also need to understand what are the implications, and I think that that becomes a very important next step to ensure that all communities and the Belizean public on a whole understands what implications the decisions that these communities will make, how it will impact them. There may be positive and negative impacts that it will have. So I really think that that is important, because what the legislation intends to do is to ensure that there is ample time for communities to meet, discuss, build consensus among themselves, among the members of that community, so that when the opportunity presents itself for them to make a decision on whether it is going to be communal land or private property, that they make a decision that is informed. I think that is critical, so that the communities make the decision that is in the best interest of them, knowing that once that decision is made, it is final.
Permanent, that's what I was going to say.
It's a permanent decision, and so that is why that period of time for the community to decide becomes very, very important. I just want to respond to what was said in terms of what really has happened on the ground. In January of 2022, the FPIC protocol was adopted. That protocol speaks clearly on how it is that any proponent for a administrative project or administrative measure or project that will impact Maya communities must be treated with a very clear outline of how it is that the community leaders are informed, how it is that the communities is engaged, how it is that this negotiation happens until we reach the signing of consent agreement, if one is going to be signed between the proponent and the community, but also how the monitoring of the implementation of this project happens. I think that that was a very important first step that was taken. Of course, we are there where we have draft legislation now, and so I think that some very concrete, firm steps have been taken. And of course, this is done in consultation with the appellants. Of course, we have to think of the private landowners, because there are private landowners in the Toledo district. And then there are the non-Maya communities. I mean, we have all of these non-Maya communities that are affected or will be affected by this legislation. So that engagement is very critical, and that is what our minister, CEO, and us at the Office of Indigenous Affairs have been facilitating.
I have a question / suggestion here. They're asking, can the government not form a bipartisan committee to deal with this matter, since it has affected both parties, major parties in politics?
It is going to be... I don't think there's an issue in terms of
continuation.
Yes, in terms of what we do. I can say to you that our minister have been in constant dialogue with Ms. Lisel Alamia, who you would know was one of the commissioners of the Indigenous Peoples Affairs, if that was how it was called then.
Toledo Maya Land, right?
Yeah. So she knows a lot in terms of the process from inception, and she have given some some advice, some guidance, some background, some historical data to us on the issue. But again, we also have to look at what she do or say, because she also is a third party because she have other interests as well. But the minister is open to dialogue with anybody who is willing to assist in bringing this issue to an end. I just want to make this point clear that the CCJ consent order also alluded to the fact that the customary land rights exist both collectively and individually. And that is very important. How do you determine or define individual rights? It would suggest that people would have the option to not be a part of a collective process, and they can have their land individually, right? So that is something that we also have to look at. Like I said before, this is not something easy to deal with, because it also has serious financial implications, right? And we have to think of all of that in the entire process. I would think that one good approach would have been to sit with the Maya Leaders Alliance and the Toledo Alcalde Association, the third parties. We have had such meeting before, but as time closes in, we're seeing that reluctance now on the part of the Maya Alliance and the Alcalde Association to want to be in the same room with the third parties. Now we understand that third parties have also sought and obtained counsel. They now have an attorney who represents them. And so we have to now ensure that whatever we do, where they're concerned, that the attorney is also consulted in the process. Right? So it's a complex issue, but certainly with the leadership we have at the ministry, along with the AG ministry, we will find a way to deal with it and deal with it very soon.
And I don't think complex is the word. I'm just thinking about when you look at the map, the clusters of villages that are around each other, that if whatever route you decide to implement, that it could be workable for everybody.
And that is what makes the issue so complex, because individual communities have their own wishes, aspirations, and the Constitution of Belize protects that.
Everybody.
It protects everybody. It protects Maya people. It protects indigenous community and people, but it also protects other Belizeans. And so, finding that balance becomes very critical to ensure that nobody feels like they are disenfranchised, because that, at the end of the day, that is what we don't want.
Right.
I also like to say, Brandon, that in the beginning we had a number of issues arising in the Toledo district, particularly within the proposed Mayan customary land tenure. And these issues were really and truly creating serious conflict, because people didn't know where to go to have these issues properly addressed. These issues range from police issues to land issue to other issues. And these complaints were mounting. And so what we did, we put together a pro tem committee, which is chaired by Mr. Rekenia. And on that committee, we have the Deputy Surgeon, we have the police, we have somebody from natural resources, somebody from forestry, and other organizations that might have to do with some of those issues that were arising. And so what this committee, this pro tem committee did, was to look at all the complaints that had arisen, and they found a way to deal with it, right? So we see where less and less the complaints were coming in, because we found a way to be able to address these complaints. And when it comes to complaints that were more complex, that the committee could not have addressed, then that was referred to the cabinet subcommittee, right? Again, these layers are important. When you have something that cannot be dealt with by the lower committee, it escalates up to the cabinet subcommittee, who then advises the the subcommittee to the bottom as to how to address the issue. And again, this was done with the intent to make sure that we do not do anything that is going to further escalate situations on the ground, but to make sure that whatever issues are addressed, it is addressed in the best possible way to quell whatever issue that may exist.
Right.
Again, I want to emphasize the point that the review panel that is going to be convened, I think, early next month, is going to look at the legislation, which is very, very important. Again, to make sure that the legislation meets what the government and the Maya Alliance and the TAA wants is important. Now, there's going to be some compromises that will have to be made, because we know for a fact that the Maya Alliance and the TAA are very determined in terms of what they want, but they will have to understand, and so will the government need to understand that we might not get what we want, but rather to make sure that we arrive at a compromise that is going to be reasonable and in the best interest of the parties. So we look forward to that, certainly. We want to make sure that this is addressed in the best possible way, and that is exactly what we will do.
Are you looking at a certain timeline for when we have the final draft proposal and we can begin to implement it into law?
Well, there's a lot of consultation that we need to do. Separate and apart from the consultations be done with the Maya Leaders Alliance and the TA, we're also doing other consultations. We want to go to TCC, have consultation there. We want to go to the sport complex in PG, have consultation there. We want to go in the villages and meet the people, have consultations there. You would know that it cannot just be with the Maya Leaders Alliance and the TA. We also need to go and hear from the villages. What is it that they want? So the consultation is going to be broad. The minister is also planning a forum at UB where we'll have people from different sectors to come in and discuss the issue. And then the UB students will have an opportunity to ask questions and give their input. So again, there's a lot that we want to do to make sure that we do this the right way. We want the Belizean people to see exactly what we're doing. And that lends to transparency, right? So you can look forward to these events coming up very shortly. We're in the planning stage. Mr. Rekena is dealing with the logistical aspect of it along with myself and the ministry. And as soon as we have the schedule put together, we'll inform the media so that you all can go and attend these forums if you so wish.
What I think is going to be very important in this is that in the consultation process that we are as broad as possible so that every sector of the Belizean society has a say, because this really is going to affect the entire country of Belize.
Yes.
And so it becomes very important that we hear from all sectors of society, and it is with that view that we want to ensure that when this is planned, that it is far-reaching and all-encompassing.
I think, well, I have a comment here, and I think this will stir up my answers of sorts, because when we're dealing with private land now, third parties, if it is given over to the communal land tenure, and we know that by law, by constitution, yes, you could have that acquisition of land, but there must be some sort of compensation, whether it be with other land or with finances. Yeah. Would that finances come from, yes, our taxpayers' money? Because some people might say, well, I disagree with that, because this is our ruling where, not affect me. Yes, it affects us, but this not affect me. Why should my taxpayers' money go to compensation for something that has been ordered from a court?
It goes back to what Mr. Rekena said a while ago, that even you who think that you're not affected by the judgment is affected. The Constitution in Section 17 speaks to the protection of private property. And no one shall be subject to arbitrary deprivation of their property. And if the state so wish to take away your property, then you must be compensated adequately, right? Now, people have millions of investment in some of these areas. The question then is, like you rightly said, should the government move to acquire these lands from these people, then who pays, right? And that's why I said earlier that it has serious financial implication. The protection of right to property under the Constitution must also be afforded to those third parties. That if their property is deprived, then they must be compensated. So we'll wait to see how that plays out. I am hoping that there's going to be some sort of negotiation where reasonable heads would prevail and say, okay, if Mr. Peter Tam have so much investment in this area, he has title to the property, then by all means leave him there, right? And then the government must just then cease and desist from issuing further titles. Now, in the CCJ judgment, it says that the government must undertake to not issue titles or lease in those areas, but it did not say that the government must take away what has already been given, right? So these are things that we have to look at, and certainly the AG Ministry and Senior Counsel Marshal-elect will be looking at this very closely to see how we'll be able to mitigate these things to make sure that the government don't pay too much money.
Yes,
right?
correct. Yeah. So, gentlemen, thank you guys so much for joining us here on the couch this morning. Amazing conversation for a very, very important topic. Like you said, Mr. Rick, and it affects not only the South, it affects every single one of us. Something else that affects every single one of us, and we would love to invite you back, CEO, is transport, right? And people have been in this chat asking when you'll come back to discuss transport, right? But thank you guys so much for joining us here on our couch. And with that, guys, we come to the ending of this segment as well as the ending of our show. We just want to thank our guests for coming in. We had the National AIDS Society in and the International AIDS Society in talking about the upcoming symposium happening April 29th and 30th. So stay tuned for that. Amazing things to come. Again, we had Wesley Junior College coming in talking about their Dins Up. Again, the proceeds are all going towards a new building for the sixth form students. We know that Wesley is ever expanding, and we want to help them with that growth as well. And then finally, we had CEO Chester Williams here, as well as Mr. Gustavo Requena talking about the Maya customary land rights issue and how they are progressing as a government in moving forward. So we have so much to stay tuned to. But with that, I usually say, if you do something today, please make it make sense.
I don't have any wise words today, but see you guys next time.
Yes. All right, guys. Mañana.
I should have paid more attention. Spanish class. Because me who not like to describe the way you shake your. No abra, no speech, but man versatile. A place to call your home. A place where you can grow. Stand by me and we'll take flight. We'll be there at morning's light. I've got you covered on all concerns we share today. You will discover how the world turns each day. When the sun comes up